reach this incredible point. Now, I just set the table here. He's always got more inside baseball for us, always more breaking news. So we're going to recap what's happened, flesh out the latest secret meetings. His story that he offered us yesterday, he said he could be run many places, but he said he'd like to run it on Infowars.com, is now on DrudgeReport.com. How the GOP elite plan to rob Donald Trump, a play-by-play. But a lot of you can't read while you're driving or things like that, so we're going to have spoken word here for you as we go through this and more with Roger Stone. Roger, thank you for coming on with us, and I like that hat.
Yeah, this hat, it was a gift from St. John Hunt, who, of course, is the son of the legendary CIA operative and later Watergate burglar, and the hat once belonged to E. Howard Hunt.
So the Mission Impossible character is named after.
Yes, exactly. So I wear this as a homage to my friend St. John. This article today that appears exclusively on Infowars.com and was picked up by Drudge and now, I believe, by Real Clear Politics is a blow-by-blow of exactly how the kingmakers and the Republican bosses plan to steal the nomination from Donald Trump despite the national will, despite the fact that he has historically run the table in the primaries and most of the caucuses. I've never seen anything like it since the hijacking of the Republican Party by the Eastern establishment in the 40s and in 1952. So to be very clear, they have a number of gambits here that they intend to use. Curly Holland, who is the Republican National Committee man from North Dakota, has inadvertently spilled the beans. They're going to try to unbind all of these delegates. So the argument, quite simply, is it doesn't matter how the people back in South Carolina voted or the people in New Hampshire voted. The delegates are all free agents. That way, those who are quidlings, those who have been inserted into the delegations posing as Trump supporters, can vote against Trump, and other Trump supporters can be pressured. They can be pressured by those who hold the mortgage to their homes or to their businesses or to whom they owe money. This is going to be a slugfest in Cleveland.
This is going to be a day long remembered, undoubtedly. I know you told me some of the inside baseball, but obviously Trump is concerned about this. I think the strategy is he needs to come out now that the public is aware of this. You don't want to sound like sour grapes before and say, listen, I'm the leader. They're openly bragging about stealing it. This is criminal. You can't just change rules, to say child molestation is okay, and you can't change rules to steal the popular vote. I'm considering a lawsuit or something like that. I know you're advising him. What do you think of that advice?
Well, a lawsuit would have no force. The Republican National Convention is not governed by federal or state law. It's governed by its own rules. That's actually...
I understand that there's got to be some pressure because it reaches the level of racketeering to say we were going to ignore your popular vote through false advertising, holding out that the election is about a popular vote.
Well, but the good news here, Alex, is Donald Trump is not in any way without cards. He has many cards. First of all, he has the option of challenging the seating of some delegates. The Texas delegation, in my opinion, could be challenged on the basis of widespread voter fraud that you here at Infowars.com have helped us document. The entire Ohio result is flawed because that ballot setup was tainted. It was wired against Donald Trump. Now, the lawyers tell me that Trump, who was the only one withstanding, would have a very strong lawsuit, but instead of bringing a lawsuit, he can bring his case to the Credentials Committee or to the full convention if it's necessary. There also, let's remember, as the candidate who is closest to 1237, the magic number that one needs on the first ballot, Donald Trump still has the vice presidential nomination to bestow on someone. And it could be anyone who controls a small but significant...
And that's how they forced in 1980 George Herbert Walker Bush in, but he could come back through the same door but bring a patriot in. Let's expand on that. Imagine Trump up there during the RNC with his speech saying, I have the majority, the vast majority, don't let them steal this. Delegates, let's stand up and restore the republic. People would go crazy. They'd be crying. They would revolt against the party leadership. It'd be the magic moment.
Well, plus I don't rule out the fact that there is some other constitutionalist out there in the Republican Party who would be a good vice president and controls a small but significant group of delegates just through personal loyalty. So let's not assume that just because the bosses and the kingmakers want to steal this, that they are going to be successful. Trump has the most important power on his side, public opinion. And as Abraham Lincoln said, public opinion in this country is everything. The big steal is going to be very difficult for the bosses to carry out. It's interesting to me, and I predict again, George W. Bush's clan, particularly Jeb Bush, will be endorsing Ted Cruz shortly because Ted Cruz is a Bush family retainer. Ted Cruz isn't the constitutional conservative you think he is. He's a globalist. He's backed by Goldman Sachs. His wife and he are minor servants for the Bush family. She worked for Condoleezza Rice, getting us into the phony Iraq War. Then she went over and worked for Robert Zoellick, the U.S. Trade Representative, former president of the World Bank, former president of the Council on Foreign Relations.
And now the Federal Reserve's giving money to him and Hillary, but none, zero to Donald Trump. Another incredible endorsement.
Yeah, he's Dr. Evil. Look, if you ask me, Donald Trump has a long list of thank you notes that he has to write. He's got to send one to the Pope. He's got to send one to the Chinese government. He's got to send one to Vicente Fox. He's got to send one to Mitt Romney. Now he's got to send one to the Washington Post. All of these attacks are backfiring. All they're doing is winning votes.